Welcome to Legends in the Making, where we're redefining business success by aligning purpose, people, and profits. I'm your host, Erin Sarles Bowers, entrepreneur, shamanic mentor, and founder of Ignite, Elevate, Ascend Consulting. In each episode, I'll share snackable insights that will inspire you to lead with clarity, power, and heart. We'll dive into actionable strategies, real world stories, and metaphysical teachings to help you unlock the infinite potential of your business, your people, and yourself. Are you ready to turn your business into a legend in the making? Let's dive in. And today we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, which I love, around why great strategies fail and how the role of energetic alignment plays into that. So, have you ever wondered why even the most brilliant strategies sometimes fall flat? We're going to talk about diving into the critical role of energetic alignment and how it can make or break your strategic success. So, while logical planning and doing X, Y, and Z is typically what you see in most business plans. But then when you think about why do those things not then come to fruition? Why do those things not get executed? What's the hidden block? And you'll hear a lot in business, people talk about the root cause. The root cause is, this, or this. And what I really firmly believe now in all my years of coaching, consulting, and working in corporate America, actually what the root cause is the energetics, the state of being of which you create from and which you act from. So we're going to talk about just how strategies and energy alignment come into practice and how shamanic work and other energetic techniques work in really helping you have the breakthrough that you want to have in your organization. So stick around. If you're ready to upgrade your strategy execution, DM align to me at the end of the episode. So there is a disconnect between logical planning and team energy. And I do a lot of this work. And what's amazing when you help people develop plans and think about all the strategies, which are all great, but then it's like, why are these strategies and plans not coming to fruition? Why do you not see the outcome that you're hoping for in that alignment? And what I would offer, it's because there is a falter in the energetics of either yourself, the business owner, entrepreneur, you as a leader, because it's not aligned, and then you're not getting strategic alignment with the team members around you in order to go fully execute it. So if we think about from an energetic perspective, I like to really break this down and keep it really pretty simple. But when I think of, we have 3 lower vibrational energies, and there's many more that constitute into this, but there's fear, there's attachment to outcome, and there's lack. And so when we think that we're missing something or we're lacking something, we are coming from a state that we don't feel abundant. We feel like there's not enoughness. And so when we're in lack, we can only create more lack. We are the creators of our reality. The reality is we can't think we're going to be infinitely abundant and think that we're lacking something. We're insufficient. We don't have enough of it. So that's one. And it can disguise itself in a multitude of ways, not just like, oh, we're lacking something or we don't have enough resources. It can show up in a magnitude of other ways that it presents itself. And then we move into the emotions or feelings of anger or because we're attached to the outcome. So when we also think about how do we loosely hold what we want to accomplish, but are an allowance for the universe to deliver even greater results to us, because we're allowing for God, source, universe, divine to really come in and do the work when we're strategic aligned with what we're supposed to do. So if we're like, we have to get 50 memberships, I'll use a gym example, by the end of this month, and we're so attached to that outcome, when we become attached, we constrict down. So we're not in allowance. So we're not inviting in that free flowing. We are essentially shutting off that coming in, and we're not focused on how to expand. What if we could get 75, maybe 100? What's the infinite potential? When you write action plans, are you speaking to how do you step into the infinite potential that exists for you to go attract, achieve, create? And then we move into fear and wanting to control every outcome. And even if you think about plans, they're designed to control an outcome because we fear, if we don't do this, then what's going to happen? So how do you start to create from a place of infinite abundance and limitless potential and limitless possibilities versus we're in a bad spot, and what are the action steps we're going to go take to do that? And what you'll find is most people don't get bought in because you're coming from a negative state, a lower vibrational state. So then the team doesn't get on board, and then they don't do it because they're like, well, why are we doing this in order to achieve this? And I don't want to be doing that. So then nobody essentially is in action. So when you're not in right action, when you're not in alignment, nobody's taking action. And when I look at misaligned energy, you see burnout, you see low morale, you see poor communication, you see frustration. It just doesn't, they go hand in hand, but nobody wants to look at the root cause, the energetic cause of why this isn't getting executed. Like, why don't you believe it, embody it, and go take action? So, I like to use a metaphor. A brilliant blueprint is useless if the builders aren't energized to bring it to life. So you can have the most beautiful building or beautiful house laid out on this plan, but unless you want to bring it to life and feel so motivated and so inspired to translate that into action, you're not going to do that. So how can you bridge that gap? How can you start to bridge that gap to bring those things into action and into alignment? And this goes back to things that I repeatedly talk about, but work so amazingly. Number one, you have to be grounded. Are you spending time every day getting presenced and grounded in the moment? Are you here right now doing what you're supposed to be doing, why did you drop in here? Are we on purpose? And I had somebody share with me, like, we kind of have a pandemic of people having a lack of focus and a lack of purpose. And that's because collectively we're going through a spiritual awakening on this planet, and we're coming out of this slumber. But it takes a lot of courage to activate into who you are, which is your soul, and why you came here, and how to make that happen, and to break free of all the societal constructs that have held you down or held you back. So with that, ensuring that you're presenced. Am I here right now? Let me take a few deep breaths in. There's various breathing exercises that you can do. The 4-7-4 method. There's the 4-4-4, like box breathing. There's breathing in, sipping in at the top, and releasing out. Like, time to just get presenced. I'm right here. Everything's all well with me. What is the focus and priorities for me today. Visualization, spending time when you're meditating, allow your imagination, which is the most powerful force in the universe, to visualize what you're creating. What's that environment going to be like? How does this come to fruition? Like, great sports people do this all the time. They spend a lot of time in visualization, because then your body just gets into flow and it starts to just flow and follow along. So those are things when you're in a team setting. How do you presence everybody, bring everybody into where they're at right now? What's the check-in, and how do you then use where people are at to move forward? And to also, if people aren't in right mental spaces, you can help, like, create space for people to work through that. Because if they're shut down or blocked down, you're not going to be able to have a dialogue that's really going to help you move forward. And not creating an environment where people can truly just say what they think, whether you like it or don't like it, does not matter. You can just allow that space for people to voice what they're thinking. And really, with the ground rules of, we can say anything and everything we want, as long as we speak and talk to each other the way that we want to be spoken to. So, there is such opportunity right now to focus on the energetics of where people are, what's their state of being, and how do I then open dialogue to what's the infinite possibilities. Let's say we're struggling. I want to hear everybody's ideas of what you think we can do in order to boost sales. Everybody has a valid construct to share. Oh, and what about this? And what about that? Think about the momentum and energy and excitement. Okay, what aligns for you to go do? We want to have this, like, we're all going to go do this. Well, what aligns for me energetically and how I'm supposed to express myself in the world may not align with another leader. So what if we're both bought into the vision and mission, but the way we come about it is completely different? Think about how I've seen that so much in my corporate career, where it's like, we're all going to march and step and all do this. And it's like, we aren't robots. We're people. We have different vantage points. What makes my heart get super excited is not what one of my peers would get jazzed about. So how do you also, in organizations, be an allowance for the differences of ideas, but your focus is on, where do we have to end up? If I decide I want to trek through the mountains to get to the end point of B, and somebody wants to swim down the river, but we both get there and we both get there at the same time, that's what should matter. Are we arriving at the end point, and we're less worried about, we're going to control everybody in order to get this done? And think about that again. Control comes from fear. So if I'm creating plans out of fear and now dictating what everybody's going to do, because if we all do this, we're going to get to the end result, versus we're all know what the end result is and we're activated to go fulfill that role or goal or achieve what is being laid out, you're going to have dramatically different results, because people are bought in. People are different. They need to be activated different. You'll hear all of the terms like situational leadership. Situational leadership should be situational approaches to how are you supposed to go accomplish what we're supposed to do. If I'm really great with my words and somebody else is really great with, let's say, something else, I might go do X, Y, and Z, and they might go do something different. But what if we both are motivated to go, we need to do X dollars in revenue, should we not get there? So it's like, how are you expansive and expanding out in order to receive. And the more you do that and the more freedom you give, which is a higher vibrational frequency, the more you're going to get back. You get what you give. So if you're giving fear, you're going to get fear. If you're giving freedom and creativity and innovation, you're going to get back creativity, innovation, all those things. So we have such a huge opportunity here to expand out, to remove the roadblocks, and to lead from a place of expansion. So I would challenge you to really look at your organization and go, okay, we've laid these plans out. We're not getting the result. Where were these plans created? What energy were they created from? Were they created from a space of lack? Were they created from a space of fear? Were they created from a space, if we don't get this, we're going to have a really big problem? If you're starting there, you're going to come back to those places versus like, this is my playground. How big can we go? How big can we impact? What else can we do? And how can we then create an environment that activates people into accomplishing that and makes them feel amazing about who they are as people and the contributions that they're making to our organization? So I'm a firm believer that the root cause and the secret sauce to future success in business is energetic alignment. But I'd love to hear from you. What's one strategic idea you've been struggling to implement consistently? Share it in the comments. And if you're ready to upgrade your strategy and your execution, DM me alignment to explore how we can transform your organization. And remember, ditch the ordinary, unleash the legendary. So thank you again for tuning in to Legends in the Making. If today's episode inspired you, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. And don't forget to share this podcast with other leaders, visionaries, and changemakers who are ready to elevate their business, align their purpose, and ignite their own legendary journey. And if you're ready for the next step, head to our website, www.ignite, Elevate, Ascend Consulting, or follow us on social media for more tools, resources, and upcoming events. And until next time, remember, legends aren't born, they're built. Keep leading with purpose, align with your vision, and always ignite the legend within you.